I'm going to bring to you in this segment another menu of the Mumbai Native Kitchen Festival. And one big part of Mumbai's history are the people who've come from various parts of the country and the world in search of trade, and then they made the city their home. So you've heard of the Parsis, you've heard of the Boris, and then there are the Memons and the Khojas, and you've got someone today who's going to talk about their food, and she's going to represent their food from her home kitchen as a part of the Mumbai Native Kitchen Festival. So welcome on board, Shabnam. Great to have you on board.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Kalyan. Yeah.
No, we are so excited because having tried your food on many occasions, I felt that this is a food which should be brought to the city at large. So Shabnam, would you like to tell us a bit about the communities you belong to, you're married into, and their role in the history of Mumbai?
Okay, so I'll tell you about myself. I'm actually a born Khoja, and I'm married in a Katchi Memon family. So the Katchi Memon history goes like basically they're said to have come from the Sindh and come to India via Gujarat for trading purposes. You know, Memons are usually a trading community, largely a trading community, and largely the Sunni Muslims. So in the cuisine, you'll find a lot of Gujarati influence, and you'll find a lot of similarities, and not a lot of fresh produce is used because of the Kutch influence. So, not a lot of availability, but you adapt as per where you are.
Yes. So by Kutch, you're talking of the Rann of Kutch in Gujarat, which is a slightly desert area where there's not. And when did they come into Gujarat? About 400 years back, you were telling me once?
Around 400 to 500 years back, yeah.
And then from Gujarat, and that's been an interesting route because it's the Memons, the Boris, the Parsis. I mean, so many communities have come to Mumbai via
Gujarat. Yes.
So the food you're presenting this Sunday is from the Memon community.
Memon community, right?
And where did you learn this cooking?
So the Memon food, yes, I learned with my in-laws, my mother-in-law and my aunt-in-law, and then since we were like foodies, basically, we're in a big joint family, and food is all you talk about and think about, and when you have a huge family, every member needs to be kept happy. So that's how we learned, and then the adaptations.
Yeah, in fact, I must say that whenever I've tried your meals during the lockdown, and it really seems like a family meal because there are a few courses and then lots of it. So how in a family meal you put it on the table and start eating?
Yeah,
so there's a sense of bonding.
It's a very different feeling, when you are in a joint family and when you sit to eat. It's a very different feel,
So what are the dishes which you have for us at the Mumbai Native Kitchen Festival?
So for the festival, what we've done is we've selected a few of our favorite things. So the starter course will be the Katchi kebabs. So the Katchi kebabs are, they're marinated overnight. So it takes in all the flavor, and then we just pan fry it. So it's crusty on the top and it remains moist inside, unlike the other kebabs which dry up. So that's the Katchi kebab.
Can I just, I'll just interject once. So Katchi keema, of course, means raw, but in case you're wondering, no, it's not sashimi or something like that.
Doesn't remain raw.
It's not sashimi. But I must say that the first time when we had it, so my wife is a Parsi and they love kebabs, so do I. And what Shabnam just said, that, since it's not cooked before they fry it, so it's really the flavors of the meat and very lightly spiced. It's very juicy and it's really about a very meaty sort of feeling. And it's not something which you'll get in restaurants. It's more a very home-cooked dish.
Yeah, it's a very home-cooked dish, right? You're right about that.
What next?
So, and the more important thing is that your whole house is full of aroma, that's the whole essence of it.
So Shabnam, we've lived in Iran, I as a kid, for about a year many years back when I was 4 or 5 years old. And at that time, my mom learned a kebab from her friends in Iran, which she used to make with mincemeat in the skewers and then directly on the stove top. And when I had your kebabs, It actually reminded me of the kebabs I used to have, which you would make when you were in Iran
similar
30 years back. Yes.
So, Kalyan, strangely, so when we talk about the Khoja community, which is my maternal house, they are said to have originated from Persia.
Like the Parsis.
So by the Parsi. So you'll see a lot of Iranian influence in the Khoja cooking, You'll see saffron, you'll see dill leaves, you'll see a lot of kebabs. And so it's a blend, basically.
No wonder my wife, who's a Parsi, loved it.
Yeah, I thought so too.
No, sorry, what are you saying?
Yeah, so my cooking is now actually a blend of all these influences,
I agree.
So we get in the best of all.
And that's what happens, right? Even for me, I mean, my cooking has so many influences, Bengali, Parsi, what we experience. Now tell us about the blockbuster dish, the khichra.
Okay. So the blockbuster dish is the mutton khichra, which we traditionally serve with khamiri rotis. So the khichra is actually a huge dish, it's basically made in huge pots, cooked overnight. So you take the meat and you marinate it in the masalas, and then you put in a bunch of spices, the pulses. There's 7 kinds of pulses used.
Wow.
And then we
what are the 7 kinds of pulses? What are the 7 kinds?
So you'll have broken wheat. We'll have broken wheat. That's the pounded wheat.
Dalia.
And no, not dalia. It's the whole wheat, but it is pounded.
Got it.
So that's a particular method then. And then there are 7 kinds of dals, and there's rice used in it. Wow. So it's a mix of all these things, of very few masalas, and it's slow cooked and it's cooked overnight. So traditionally, these were all the things that were for community cookings, where dishes were cooked in one house or cooked for the whole community. That's when you make. So khichda we can never make in small quantities, it has to be made in a huge pot. So that's the essence of the khichda. And we serve it with a very...
There are a lot of condiments, no? Which
there are a lot of condiments. We have birishta, that is the fried onions. We'll have mint leaves, we'll have lime, we'll have little ginger. So it just uplifts the whole experience,
So, in India, we are so excited about the khawswe, the Burmese dish, and about the condiments, but this is a very Indian version of a khawswe.
Very Indian version.
So how should people eat it when they get it, for people having khichra for the first time?
So you can have it on your own like a porridge, or you like the way we serve it, it's with the khamiri rotis. Now the khamiri roti comes from the Khoja influence. It's like, as I told you, the Iranian thing. So the big rotis, the tandoor, made in the tandoors, basically, So it's a little thick. You just mop it up, and that's how you eat it.
And the condiments, should you put it on your individual bowl or in the common bowl and then give it out? The condiments.
I would prefer it on the individual, so you can enjoy the most of it, and not wait for what is served to you.
And there's a bit of history, folklore to do with khichra, right? There's a bit of mythology. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So some story tells us that khichra was actually made by Prophet Noah, when he built the ark, and when the storm hit the ship, that's when he put up whatever was available on the ship, and that's how the khichra was made, So it's supposed to be a holy dish in that manner.
Wow. So I never knew. I mean, one knew of the story of Noah's Ark right from a kid, but one didn't know khichra was made over there. And it makes so much sense, because in Bengal, when it rains, we make khichuri, and which is with rice and moong dal. And it's the same logic, that even if it's raining and everything's flooded, shops are shut, in every house there will at least be some rice and moong dal, and putting it together. It's amazing how food stories connect from across different parts of the country and the world, and it's really amazing. And tell us about the dessert. It's a meaty rice. It's a sweet rice. How is that?
So the dessert is actually not in a dessert form, where it's not that hits you like really sweet, but it's a very subtle thing. It's a rice dish, so that's how you end your meal. When you had khichra and roti, and then it's a gud ke meethe chawal. So it is basmati rice cooked with jaggery, and then it has dried coconut and nuts. So it just makes it a little lavish, and it's a nice way to end the meal.
Beautiful. I'm so happy that you're doing this meal, Shabnam, because I remember when we first met a few years back at a home chef meet by FBAI, and you were telling me that you were so keen to bring out the food cooked in your home and community to the larger community in the city. And I'm so glad you're doing it. And we're really excited. So it's coming up this Sunday in the Mumbai Native Kitchen Festival with the Soul Company. And you can go to the website and book it and make plenty of place, because Shabnam's food is like really wholesome. And I must say that if you're a lover of meat or mutton, then this Katchi Keema ke kebab and the soft meat in the kitcha is right up your street. So thank you so much, Shabnam. Thank you.
Thank you. Really I'm excited to get my food to you. Yes.
We are so excited to have you on board. Thank you.
Thank you.